What if I told you that Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo never really beat you in the same way? What if one destroys you before you even react, while the other finishes you after you think you're safe? Tonight, a man who faced them at the highest level, who built his career on control and precision, has finally spoken. Toni Kroos broke his silence, and his words don't choose a side. They expose a truth that makes this rivalry even more unsettling. So, are you ready to see Messi and Ronaldo the way defenders actually felt them? Before we begin, don't forget to like the video, share it with someone who loves football debates, and subscribe if you want stories without filters, without shortcuts. Toni Kroos is not a man of noise. He is a man of measurements. Tempo, angles, seconds, meters. Across a decade at the highest level, he faced Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo not as a fan, not as a pundit, but as someone whose job was to control chaos. He played against Messi in Clásicos, where one mistake meant humiliation in front of the world. He played with Ronaldo in a dressing room where excellence was not optional, it was demanded every single day. And today, while many careers fade quietly, Messi at 38 is still rewriting logic itself. 71 goal involvements in a single season, not as a striker, not as a poacher, but as the center of gravity of an entire team. Meanwhile, Ronaldo's legacy remains just as brutal. Seasons of 50, 60 goals, physical dominance that turned penalty boxes into execution zones. So here is the uncomfortable question. If both shattered records, broke defenses, and changed history, why did they feel so different on the pitch? Why did defenders speak of Messi with fear and of Ronaldo with dread? Kroos didn't answer with emotions. He answered with time and space. For years, Toni Kroos avoided this debate, not because he lacked an opinion, but because he knew how easily words get twisted when Messi and Ronaldo are involved. One sentence and you're labeled. One nuance and you're accused of choosing sides. But retirement changes something. In a calm, almost clinical interview, Kroos was asked a simple question. Who was harder to face? Not greater, not more legendary. Harder to stop. He paused. That pause mattered, because Kroos had lived both realities. He had tried to close passing lanes against Messi, only to realize the ball was already gone. He had watched Ronaldo drift away from defenders, not to touch the ball, but to wait for the exact moment space appeared. And then he said it. Messi, Kroos explained, doesn't beat you with power or volume. He beats you before you understand what's happening. A touch, a turn, a decision made 2 seconds earlier than anyone else on the pitch. Ronaldo, on the other hand, doesn't rush you. He lets you organize, he lets you feel safe. And then, in a space no bigger than 2 meters, he ends you. 2 seconds, 2 meters. This wasn't poetry. This was a midfielder explaining trauma in technical terms. When Kroos spoke about 2 seconds, he wasn't talking about speed, not sprint speed, not acceleration. He was talking about something far more terrifying for a defender: anticipation. Against Messi, Kroos explained, you don't lose the duel when the ball passes you. You lose it earlier. You lose it at the moment you think you still have time. Those 2 seconds are the difference between intention and execution, between seeing a passing lane and believing you can close it. Messi lives inside that gap. Defenders describe the same sensation again and again. You take 1 step forward, and the ball is already behind you. You shift your body to block the shot, and Messi has already changed his angle. Statistically, this is why Messi's influence looks unreal. He doesn't just score or assist. He participates in sequences that force entire defensive lines to move, to panic, to collapse. Kroos insisted on one detail that rarely makes headlines. Messi doesn't accelerate after receiving the ball. He accelerates before. His decision is made while everyone else is still processing the situation. That's why fouling him is so hard. That's why pressing him feels useless. And that's why coaches say the same thing year after year. You didn't defend badly, you were just late. 2 seconds late. In elite football, that's an eternity. But then Kroos shifted the conversation. Because what Ronaldo does is the complete opposite. If Messi kills you in time, Ronaldo kills you in space. Kroos was very clear about this. Against Ronaldo, defenders often feel they've done everything right. The line is compact. The angles are closed. The danger seems neutralized. And that's exactly when the mistake happens. Ronaldo doesn't need freedom across the pitch. He needs 2 meters, sometimes less. Those 2 meters are not accidental, they are engineered. A half step backward to escape a marker. A sudden pause that freezes the defender's momentum. A jump timed not by height, but by separation. Inside the box, Ronaldo becomes a predator of geometry. He reads distances like a striker reads fear. And once that tiny pocket opens, the action is irreversible. Kroos pointed out something defenders rarely admit. You don't lose to Ronaldo because you misread the play. You lose because you can't survive the margin. That's why his goals feel inevitable. That's why goalkeepers talk about him as if he's already decided the ending. And that's why entire defensive systems were built not to stop him, but to reduce damage. Messi overwhelms you with decisions. Ronaldo overwhelms you with presence. One bends time, the other dominates space. And here's where Kroos's confession becomes uncomfortable for everyone watching. Because if both methods are unstoppable, what does that say about how we judge greatness? Kroos's confession doesn't just describe 2 players, it breaks the scale we've been using for 20 years. Football history has always tried to simplify greatness. Goals, trophies, Ballon d'Ors, one column against another. But what Kroos exposed is far more disturbing. How do you compare a player who destroys you before the action exists with one who finishes you after the action is perfectly built? In the past, legends were defined by a dominant trait: power, elegance, vision, leadership. Messi and Ronaldo shattered that tradition in opposite directions. Lionel Messi forced football to rethink time. Defensive lines, pressing systems, even refereeing interpretations had to adapt to a player who lives ahead of the game. Cristiano Ronaldo forced football to rethink space. Crossing patterns, fullback roles, aerial duels, penalty box occupation, all reshaped to survive a striker who turns centimeters into goals. That's why the GOAT debate never ends. Because subconsciously, fans are not arguing about trophies. They are arguing about a deeper question. Do you fear the player who controls your future or the one who controls your territory? Kroos didn't answer that question. He did something worse. He proved that football evolved in 2 different directions at the same time, and both had a name. Before you leave, like the video, share it, and subscribe if you want football stories told by those who live them, not by headlines. Toni Kroos didn't crown a king. He revealed a fracture. Messi wins you over before the duel exists. Ronaldo ends you after the duel feels under control. 2 seconds, 2 meters, different weapons, same devastation. So the next time someone reduces this rivalry to numbers, ask them this: would you rather be late or out of space? And now it's your turn. Does Kroos's confession change the way you see the Messi-Ronaldo debate? Tell me in the comments. And maybe that's the real reason this debate will never die. Because football didn't choose one truth, it chose 2. In the next episode, another legend breaks his silence, and his answer might divide fans even more. Stay with us.